The morning I found my ranch gate welded shut, I didn't just lose access to my land, he lost any shred of trust one had in people playing fair. It was 3 a.m. when the president of the Willow Creek HOA, Monica Tate, decided to take a blowtorch to my property, thinking she could bully me into submission. What she didn't know was that I'm a CIVYL engineer who lives and breathes property law, and I just inherited enough cash to buy the old dirt road her fancy landscaping trucks had been sneaking through for years. By the time this mess was over, I'd turned her own rules into her worst nightmare. My name's Ethan Cole, and until 6 months ago, I was crunching numbers in Portland, designing city infrastructure. When my grandpa passed, he left me his 35-acre ranch, a slice of heaven tucked right up against Willow Creek Estates, a ritzy neighborhood that popped up about 15 years back. Grandpa was old school, always saying good neighbors were worth more than money. He'd even let the developers use a corner of his land for their early construction, just to be decent. But that morning, staring at my gate sealed with a steel plate and a smug HOA notice flapping in the wind, I knew decency wasn't on the menu. The notice, printed on fancy paper with a Willow Creek logo, claimed my land was now under their jurisdiction due to some county rezoning. It said my non-compliant gate violated their precious community standards. I nearly laughed. There was no rezoning me. Grandpa's ranch was never part of their deal. I called the number on the notice, and a woman with a voice like syrup answered. When I demanded answers, Monica Tate came on, her tone sharp as barbed wire. "Mr. Cole, you're clearly misinformed. The county approved our rezoning last month. Your fence breaks 6 of our rules." I kept my cool, demanding proof and warning I'd call the sheriff if my gate wasn't fixed in an hour. Her laugh was ice cold. "Good luck with that." I grabbed bolt cutters from my truck and spent an hour hacking through their shoddy weld job, sweating in the crisp dawn air. A white SUV watched me from the development's entrance, peeling out when I got the gate open. Later, as I showed contractors around the ranch, a silver-haired woman in her 60s crossed the field. "You must be Jim's grandson," she said, offering a firm handshake. "I'm Clara Hayes, your grandpa's old friend. I saw what Monica's crew did to your gate." Clara, a retired paralegal, had been tracking the HOA's dirty tricks for years. She told me Monica had turned the board into her personal empire, strong-arming anyone who dared question her. Clara's intel lit a fire in me. She said Monica wanted my land for a second entrance to ease traffic and maybe even expand the development, eyeing the natural springs on my hill. That night, my security cameras caught Monica and 2 others welding my gate at 3 a.m. The next morning, a new notice slapped me with a due lot $2,500 fine for destroying community property. I tore it down and called my cousin, Matt, a county land assessor. "No rezoning on record," he confirmed. "They're bluffing, Ethan. But watch out, Monica's got buddies in high places." Walking my property line, I spotted fresh tire tracks on an old logging road cutting through a corner of my land. The HOA's landscaping crews were using it without permission. Digging through Grandpa's files, I found gold, surveys, deeds, and a folder labeled Willow Creek Trespass. It had photos of their trucks on the road and notes about Grandpa denying them permanent access. Another folder, marked Last Resort, held a bombshell proof the original Willow Creek agreement excluded our land from their control, signed and notarized. The logging road wasn't even on my property, but on a 5-acre parcel owned by Pacific Timber, long abandoned. Then my phone pinged with an email from Willow Creek's officia, fake rezoning notice with forged signatures. What they didn't know was I'd inherited due lot $1.2 million from Grandpa, and I was about to make them regret crossing me. Clara tipped me off about a due lot $75,000 landscaping delivery set to roll through the logging road. I grinned for the first time in days. Grandpa hadn't just left me landed, left me leverage. I called Sarah Nguyen, a property dispute lawyer I'd worked with in Portland. "They've screwed up big time," she said. "Fake documents, vandalism, trespassing. This is a legal slam dunk." While Sarah drafted a cease and desist, I learned Pacific Timber was selling off assets. The logging road parcel was mine for due la $800,000. I wired the money, signed a contract, and by dawn, I had preliminary ownership papers. I hit the hardware store, grabbing no trespass signs, cameras, and materials for a gate. By 9 a.m., the road was marked, signs posted, and a barrier gate stood at the entrance with a QR code linked to a payment portal I'd thrown together overnight. The toll? Due law $750 per vehicle. At 10:30, a convoy of landscaping trucks rolled up, led by Monica's black SUV. She leaned out, face twisted with rage. "What is this nonsense?" I held up my documents. "This is private property, Miss Tate. I own this road now. Access costs due law $750 per truck." She laughed like I was joking. "We've used this road for years." "Without permission," I shot back. "That's trespassing. Pay up or turn around." The drivers fidgeted, schedules tight. Monica demanded I remove the gate, calling it extortion. I smiled. 5 trucks, plus trailers. That's due law $4,500. Cash or card? She called the sheriff, and Deputy Larson showed up, looking annoyed. He re-VYEU'd my papers and shrugged at Monica. He's got the law on his side. Pay him or find another route. Monica's face was a storm cloud as she swiped her card for due law $4,500. "This isn't over," she hissed. I raised the gate. "Oh, I'm counting on that." Later, I billed her due law $14,500 for 6 other trucks that had slipped through that morning. Clara called, laughing. "They're freaking out at their emergency meeting. Monica's losing it." I was already planning my next move, an automated toll booth to make her life hell. Over the next week, I upgraded the gate with a heavy-duty barrier, HD cameras, and a payment terminal, all solar-powered and linked to my network. I added floodlights and more cameras along the property line. Matt dug up county records showing Willow Creek had charged residents for road maintenance on my land for years' potential fraud. The toll booth went live, and by evening, a maintenance truck tried sneaking through the ditch. My cameras caught it all, and I sent a due law $750 invoice with the footage. Monica showed up the next day with a lawyer demanding free access. I quoted property law chapter and verse, shutting them down. That night, cameras caught 3 figures with bolt cutters, Monica's sister-in-law, and 2 others. I filed a police report, and Deputy Larson couldn't ignore the EVY Denke. Clara brought more dirt. Monica's sister owned the landscaping company, raking in inflated contracts. Residents were hit with a special assessment to cover new costs, and cracks started showing in Monica's grip. I installed a 30-foot billboard on my land, facing their pool, looping slides of their financial scams and fake reports. Monica stormed over with the deputy, claiming it broke county rules. I'd already checked it was legal. I added sprinklers that accidentally soaked anyone crossing from their side and a loud weather station to annoy their quiet streets. My website, packed with EVY Denke, went VY-RAL among residents. At an emergency HOA meeting, Monica tried to paint me as a VY lane, but half the room wore shirts with my toll booth logo and Cole's Justice on the back. Clara and Tom Reynolds, a retired judge, dropped bombshells about Monica's fraud. When she claimed I was selling the ranch for low-income housing, I stood up. "I'm a CIVYL engineer, not a pushover. You welded my gate, faked documents, and targeted my grandpa. Care to explain?" Monica snapped, admitting she'd harassed Grandpa to force a sale. The room went dead quiet. Residents voted her out, named Tom interim president, and ordered an audit. Monica's final play was vandalism. Gate was trashed at 2:30 a.m., her voice on tape saying, "Let's see how he likes this." I sent the footage to the sheriff and a news contact. By noon, news vans swarmed. State police took over, and Monica and her crew were cuffed on live TV. Searches uncovered due law $300,000 in misappropriated funds and plans to seize my land. The investigation snowballed, exposing environmental violations and shady deals with a county commissioner. After the arrests, I expected to feel triumphant, but it was bittersweet. Was this what Grandpa wanted? Then, 20 residents showed up to clear the wrecked gate, sharing stories of Grandpa's kindness. I left the gate open during the day, striking a deal with a new HOA for limited access. I donated due lot $60,000 in toll fees to help residents hurt by Monica's scams. Monica and her crew took a Plano jail, but restitution and public apologies. At the clubhouse, Monica's flat apology admitted her wrongs, but her parting shot to me was bitter. The rules aren't the same for everyone. I replied, they should be. Months later, the HOA reformed and I bought 20 more acres, locking them as green space forever. On the gate incident's anniversary, I hosted a barbecue and nearly everyone came. Clara and I watched the sunset by the new gate, now open daily. Your grandpa would be proud, she said. The toll booth? It's a flower planter now, a reminder that the best revenge isn't settling scores, it's building something better. So what do you think? Was I right to fight Monica's tyranny, or did I go too far with the billboard and tolls? Should HOAs have this much power, or are they just legalized bullying? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.